Well, Broncos country, my high salute, man. How y'all feeling? Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. Great week, W week. We are getting ready to face the Raiders here in a few days in Las Vegas. We'll get to that. We'll get to that on another video. I usually save those for Fridays, some days on Saturdays. We'll talk about key matchups, predictions, all that good stuff when it comes to the Raiders. But today I want to talk about a Broncos wide receiver that I think is genuinely ready to take off, be an extremely productive member of this offense. And I think that there's two players currently that are or could be holding him back. And so we'll get into that. If it's your first time on the channel, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you so much. Check some of the other videos out. If you love Denver Broncos news and all things Denver sports, that little subscribe button that you see below there, give it a little smashy for me. Hit the thumbs up. Appreciate it. I'm on a mission to try to get to 500. I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe. Thank you. Tell a friend. Have a friend. Tell a friend. Tell your pets, whomever. I dig it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. So, Devaugh Vele, man. Big old number 17. Why does it seem like every single time he touches the ball or every single time the ball is thrown towards him, good things happen? Well, that's because most of the time they legitimately do. When you look back on the film, when you look back on the stats, everything kind of adds up, and it shows that he's a very, very good receiver given the sample size that we have so far. He's got the highest quarterback rating when targeted on the entire team at 115 plus. He has the highest completion percentage when targeted of all the wide receivers by a long shot. And I believe, let me pull that number up. It was 84% of the balls thrown his way were completed. He has 0 drops. His yards per reception are among the highest on the team as well. And the coolest part is about 65% of all of his catches were on third down for a first down. So he's becoming that safety blanket. And he's extremely well-rounded. And I love what it is that he can do. And I want to see more Devaugh Vele. I really, really do. Problem is, there's a guy wearing number 84 that you've heard me and Jeremy and David Talks Broncos and all those guys just go crazy about. And that's little Jordan Humphrey. He's getting still way too much playing time. And what I ended up doing is I said, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch all of his snaps for the last 2 games. And I'm going to try to find something, because it cannot just be that Sean Payton is playing little Jordan Humphrey strictly because he just loves the guy and he has a history. There's got to be something else, right? And we always talked about, like, we heard he was really good, blocking for screens. And, just as a wide receiver, he was an extremely elite blocker, is what people would say. Well, the film and the numbers would kind of show that that's not really the case. He's a big physical wide receiver. I know Sean Payton loves that, but Devaugh Vele and Cortland Sutton are too. So I don't really understand that. In fact, what I noticed when I went back and watched a lot of the film is that when he's on the field, there's kind of a tell as to what the team's going to do. Because about 80% of the time, it's either going to be like a really short pass or a pass behind the line of scrimmage, some sort of a screen, or they're going to run the ball. And based off where he's lining up, a lot of the times that can be very telling as well. So it was very confusing, and I really don't understand what his role on the team is. But I mean, what do I know? Sean Payton, and there's probably a less than 0% chance that you're watching this video, but if there is, just stop it with little Jordan Humphrey or make it obvious. Let us know why he's playing. He doesn't play teams. There's really not a lot of reason. And so the return of Josh Reynolds is kind of on the horizon. I don't think it's going to happen this week. But when Josh Reynolds comes back, there is going to have to be somebody on this current roster that gets cut and will ultimately probably get put on practice squad. Now, they avoided doing that for Delaire and Turner-Yell. They didn't want to release anybody and risk losing them. I get it for somebody like Delaire and Turner-Yell. I understand that. They're going to have to make decisions, though, with Josh Reynolds, and they're going to have to make a decision with Drew Sanders, right? If Drew Sanders is going to come back onto this roster, somebody's going to have to go. If Josh Reynolds is going to come back, which I anticipate he definitely will, somebody's going to have to go. So does that mean little Jordan Humphrey is gone or is going to be reverted to practice squad once Josh Reynolds comes back? Who knows? It's the move that makes sense, but ultimately we do not know. So that kind of begs the question a little bit of, like, Drew Sanders, is he going to come back and play and be activated on this roster? I sure think he should be. He's a young player. We cannot forget he's a 3rd-round pick. He's going to be used as an edge, so he can always use the edge depth. And if there's ever an injury, you're going to want to have him at least as an option. So we'll see. But Dondrea Tillman's been playing really well. And I kind of go back and forth with this. I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments about Drew Sanders. It's like, I'm curious to know what he can be. I feel like he could definitely use the reps, given that he hasn't really played a lot in his first 2 seasons. I think the talent is certainly there, but it's also like, do you want it to be at the expense of another player playing as well? Because I don't believe in just having him on the active roster and never playing him, and just having him as a game day inactive. So I want to know what you guys think about that. But there's gonna have to be 2 roster moves made, and I'm curious if one of those 2 moves is gonna be Lil Jordan Humphrey being released. I think right now, when you look at the roster, it makes the most sense because we're kind of deep in that room. Once you get Josh Reynolds back, we got a lot of bodies and a lot of guys that I think Sean Payton wants to see more of. So curious to know what you guys think, man. But let's see more of that third and Vele. I love what I see from him. And another interesting stat about him too that I saw was he's actually taking a majority of his snaps in the slot. It's actually at about the same exact percentage as Devaugh Vele in the slot. So as Lil Jordan Humphrey in the slot. So they kind of intertwine the both. But he's very, very good at the slot. When teams match up like a smaller corner on him or a slower linebacker, man, he could really get open. And I think that helps, make up for the lack of tight end or consistent tight end presence that we have. But I'm at the point now, man, where it's like, when you watch everything that Lil Jordan Humphrey does, there's nothing that he does that like Greg Dulcich couldn't do. Greg Dulcich is not a good blocker, but like for the type of blocking that they ask Lil Jordan Humphrey to do, he could do it better. I think he's significantly more explosive and better receiver. He can at least add a little bit of a different element. But I think that ship has sailed on him too, barring any kind of injury. But let me know what y'all think about this receiver room, man, about Devaugh Vele. Do you guys want to see more of him? What have you been impressed with the most with that player in particularly? So I'd love to interact with you in the comments. So hit me up below. Till next time, guys, I appreciate y'all. That's all I got for the day. Go Broncos, as always. It's a huge game coming up against the Raiders. No reason we shouldn't get a win. This team, the next hump, the next step that they need to take as a team is to dominate division opponents that you should dominate. What we've proven is that the teams that we're supposed to beat, that we're heavily favored against, we can come out and beat them. We can be competitive with the best of the best out there. So we've overcome a couple hurdles. This is a divisional game, a team that you should absolutely put a beat down on. I want to see us go out and do it. So we'll talk about that again, like I said, tomorrow. Until next time, guys, don't forget to spend time with those people that you love the most. Go Broncos, baby. And until next time, peace out.